Welcome back to the Chow Time Pod. It's your host, Red. I got a video today from Tiki Passport Bros. A lot of the arguments that women always seem to make is, it's because we come from a Western country. Oh, we have the U.S. passport. This is why these women are after us. But there's this Asian guy that really kind of puts that argument to rest in a sense. So please subscribe down below. I really appreciate that. Let's get to that chow. It's chow time. Shout outs to is this rice and beans combo. I love it.
And then see, and let me see.
It's a cute couple.
Hi,
This is why we say go to where you're appreciated. You know,
oh, damn, gangster.
rice and beans. I think it's awesome that all types of men are traveling and going overseas to look for wives. This one, he found a Korean chick. I don't really care what country you guys go to. To me, it's go where you're wanted. Go where you can find that respect and that mutual reciprocation, right? Like I push for certain countries just because those are the easier countries to kind of deal with overall and a lot more traditional. But if you find your person in another country that's less traditional, nothing wrong with it.
That's the thing. When one of my students who's a Vietnamese national, not Vietnamese American, mind you, but Vietnamese, gets picked up while traveling by an American woman, does all of a sudden he have third world country passport privilege? Or when we were in Europe during the Euro tour and this cute white girl with a blonde pixie bob cut came up to us each and said, "Are you Filipino? Are you Filipino? Are you Filipino?" She wasn't looking to use her Asian V card just to any Asian man. She specifically wanted a Filipino man. Does that mean that he had Filipino passport privilege? Or when I was in Brazil, girls would come up to me, approach me, right, and ask, "Am I Japanese?" No, like there is no like Asian passport privilege because people look at us Asians and they don't automatically assume we're American. No one assumes we're American, right?
100%. This is actually a really good take on things and argument that American women always want to say, "Oh, American men have this American privilege." No, not every one of them. Maybe the African Americans and the whites men do because they more conform to the Western looks. But us Asians that are raised in Western culture and, Western, that were born here, are viewed differently. When we go to these Asian countries, these Latin American countries, most people don't assume we're Americans. So the argument that it's because we have a American passport and we're Americans, is this why these women are attracted to us and go to us in the first place, is pretty false. Or at least it doesn't really apply to Asian men, but maybe Hispanic men too. So
Right? They assume we're Chinese or Korean or Japanese. And so that passport privilege that coming from a first world country like America that has a past of imperialism that is imposed upon these other countries doesn't exist. I
nope.
don't get that American privilege when I travel. The only privilege we get is whatever perception of like Asian society that that country has.
This is a big part of communities. How Asians are viewed globally is interesting. Like other countries view Asians as very respectful, very, non-confrontational, very, I wouldn't say easygoing, but nice, and other cultures have a different, reputation in a sense. I'm not trying to dog on, certain cultures or anything, but this is why it really matters how you carry yourself and how you represent yourself and your community. Like, I think a lot of bad actors from certain communities really, set a tone for how that whole community is viewed. This is why I think Asians have such a pretty pristine, image overall. Not perfect image. Nobody has a goddamn perfect image. But most people don't dislike Asians in many ways. It's just how it is. So when we travel to other countries, we're viewed a little bit nicer. This just kind of shitty in a sense that a few bad actors in certain communities can really shape the view of the people globally.
There's no like laws that were passed to place like Asian people above white people in these countries. People, if they have a positive perception, is because of whatever soft power that China, Japan, Korea has. And again, what about like when women are attracted to Vietnamese or Filipino guys, right? Do we have any kind of that even like upper tier Asian privilege? No, right? So the passport bro movement doesn't really apply to Asian guys because we don't have that kind of privilege as a white guy carrying around, let's say, a
See, this is weird that he's going by the passport bros having privilege. No, that's not what passport bros is. Passport bros is just men going to where they're wanted. It could be any country. It could be anywhere as long as they can find someone, that is reciprocated to them. There's no privilege in a sense of being a passport bro other than the options that you have. You're able to expand your options. You're able to go to other countries and see other cultures and see if this is someone you might enjoy to be with. It's not so limiting as being only in America and never traveling. I think that's the only really big privilege, and then the currency exchange. So women always want to argue this US passport privilege, but I don't think it really even exists for passport bros. Is and how passport bros view it is not that because we're the US, we're fucking, the best there is or something like that. No, we're in the US and women here don't fit the criterias that we want for a wife or a mother, so we want to go somewhere else that can fit those criterias. That's all that is. It's just expanding your options. I don't think men are using, blue book privileges or anything like that in a sense.
USA passport. No one thinks that we are white Americans. No one thinks that we are Americans. Like when I'm traveling through Europe, people might think I'm Korean and take pictures of me, which is pretty cool. But they'll be like, "Hey, are you K-pop? Are you K-pop?" Because we're like 10 very cool Asian men, well dressed, and they think that we are coming from another country. So in that regards, I would say argue that a more pure interaction because there is no like, hey, I might get a better position in this country if I hook up, marry this guy, because these are other kind of equally status countries, right? Whether you're like Western, Eastern Europe, or South American, like that is still like equal or if not better than coming from Vietnam, or the Philippines, or other, even like Japan or Korea. So, no, Asian guys, we're not the passport bros. I mean, let's look at it like the first passport bros were the war military guys getting war brides. Okay, follow.
I disagree. I really disagree. Passport bros is not because of we're using whatever privilege this guy assumes that passport bros have. No, it's just the options. Passport bros is just men that are tired of the women here in the West that don't see them being as fit mothers or wives, as I said before, and we're looking for other countries for that. There's no other definition towards passport bros that, oh, we're using white privilege or American privilege or our US passport privilege or anything. It's just us looking for more options. So I disagree with him on that, but I do agree that there isn't really a privilege for passport bros. When he's arguing about how Asians don't have it, I don't really think white people really have it either, nor African Americans when you think about it, because there's African countries that are pure Africans that are, of that skin color. And then white people, there's plenty of different white countries, plenty, not just the US. So his argument is slightly flawed on that one too. So
There's
this is why we're going, not because we have privilege or anything. And yes, Asians can be passport bros too.
There's a power in what you do.
I don't want nobody listening. I see the whole precision. Give us my only
How's that Chow? That Asian guy's a dating coach, so which, I can kind of understand why he had that particular argument with passport bros, how Asians aren't passport bros, and it doesn't affect us, but it does. It's just the options of women that are better. That's what passport bros is. So please like, subscribe down below. I really appreciate that, and I'll catch you guys next time. Ciao.